Okay, we're starting.
All right, we're on. Seating next to me, you're seated now, is Mr. Frank Ordaz of the Ordaz Galleries, excuse me, and otherwise known as Don Panchito Villa, or one more name in
Your
there,
common
the
sensei.
Common Sensei. Okay, we got that taken care of. I am the time traveler. What was that? Did you just flip me
I'm
off?
telling everybody that
Oh,
you
I
are.
thought that was your middle finger.
That would be your proper position towards me.
All right.
I am civilized.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, so we are here again. Uh, there's the two of us are radically different. He's a world man of this world. He has all that computer stuff and
Civilized and married.
civilized and married, and I am with a dog.
You're still somewhat feral. Well, the dog hair on your Stetson. That's
Listen.
nice Stetson with dog hair on it.
You know what? What? Oh, well, a little bit. Okay. Anyway, here's the difference. Mr. Ordaz, or Don Panchito Villa, was born in East LA, and he's got all his computer stuff. I have none of that stuff. I know you guys, especially the people who read my column, already know this story, but I grew up in a house that was built in 1862. It did not have electricity, nor did it have any neighbors, and very few people came out that far. But I grew up in probably the mid-40s. The only people who would come out that far to visit my dad were old guys. Okay, what you have to understand about 1940, these old guys are all born before or just a little after 1900. They've been around for a while. And I sat there and listened to them talk because there was nothing else to do. And I'd sit and listen to them talk and spit watermelon seeds at the cat. And that's pretty much what I did. But here's the thing. After listening to them talk for the first 6 or 7 years, I started absorbing their memories and their viewpoint, their view of the world. I have that view of the world that they had in 1900. It is not changed. I'm the same.
You're a relic.
I'm a relic. But here's the thing. Okay, so we were relics. Yeah,
A
we
walking
were
relic.
walking relic. But here's the difference that I'm looking around. Some of this stuff, you people are nuts. Look, what's going on in your world
What do
today?
you mean, you people?
You people are nuts, all of you.
Define you people. Everybody besides you.
Well, anybody that understands the real world
Okay.
knows you're.
I just need some definition. I need the pronouns, as they say.
See, there we go. There's what I'm going to get to talking about. Look at what's going on.
I have to agree with you on that one.
You got guys that are out there. I mean, you got people that are in charge, and I don't know. Here's the thing that really bothers me. So many people that are making rules for us, like the environmental, they're not elected to anything. They were appointed. But here's the situation.
It's called the administrative state.
Yeah, what we got is people. We got administrators in Oregon somewhere. And this is recent. Of course, it's all over, I guess. They have put women's feminine napkins and women's stuff in men's little boys' bathrooms.
Maybe they need it.
They don't need it. We have guys.
Maybe they should practice to being a future
I'm sorry.
woman.
Was I talking while you're interrupting again?
I'm thinking like the you people out there.
Well, you people aren't thinking. You know, if you have eyes to hear, see, eyes to see,
Okay,
ears to hear,
I wanna hear
but
this.
a brain to process that information. Most people.
I only had a brain. Okay, I want to hear about the feminine hygiene in boys or in men's bathrooms. Hit it. In Oregon.
Why would they do that?
You said they were doing this in Oregon.
Yeah.
Okay, elucidate.
That's the question. Why? Okay, now they're doing it, and then you got guys going around insisting that they can be women and they can have babies. They can't have babies. I don't care what they think or what they got in their little tiny pea brains. No, you're never going to have a baby. You do not.
But what if I feel like I'm a woman?
Yeah. Well, maybe.
I identify as a woman, and I'm only as good as what I feel like. And if I feel like a woman, who are you, a relic of 1860, to tell me that I can't be a woman?
You're an idiot if you believe that.
That's
You
hate-
are an idiot.
That's hate speech, man.
Yeah. Okay. Fine.
I feel threatened in this space.
Yeah, well,
I
you
feel
should.
very threatened.
You should, because there needs to be more threats going on in the world. Here's another thing.
I think you are now amplifying your white colonialism on me.
Yeah, well, you
a
betcha.
person of color.
I'll amplify it and put it in quotes, double quotes. Anyway, but this is going. We have lost our. We are completely nuts. And then here's the other thing, Governor Newsom, that moron, that little nitwit, who's
He's got good hair, though.
Oh, God, it takes more than that. You can, well, never mind. Anyway, he went to a Target store. Did you read this, hear this the other
I
day?
heard about it.
And he's standing there and he says, well, people are just walking out. Shouldn't you stop them? Oh my God. And then,
No, people were walking out with shoplifted
yeah,
items.
right. Not paying for them. So he doesn't understand that. He initiated most of that himself. He didn't know that people are doing that.
He
And then
signed off on the bill.
And he signed off on the bill. He definitely signed off on the bill. But
He says, hey, we have the strongest bill in the nation, he said, because they can steal up until $950.
it gets worse than that.
Okay.
Here's how bad this gets. They can steal $900 at Save Mart, which is hard to waste, buy that much in a Save Mart, but they can go in and steal $900. Then they can go down the street to another place and steal another $900. Then they can go up to Target up here, if it's still up there, and steal another $900.
Chain burglary.
But they're stealing because what's her name? That little ACO chick. What is her? They're stealing because they're hungry.
Oh,
yeah,
that's right.
You steal television.
People of color have been marginalized.
Yeah, and they've
been brutalized by white colonialists.
God, and they're starving and they need to buy bread and milk for their children. Bull.
The
unwashed masses,
unshaved, and
dog hair on their stuff.
Odoriferous masses.
Okay.
That goes back to the women's hygiene.
Yeah, there we go again. Taking back to smut. What the hell is the matter with you?
So they're really doing that in Oregon? They're putting the women's hygiene?
They had a high school somewhere, and they are. They're putting mine all over the place.
In the
men's room, you didn't know that? No. I thought you knew everything. You got that little computer thing. You know everything. How come I know more than you do?
Because I think where you're looking is kind of like Smutsville.
The news.
The nudes.
Okay, but at any rate, here's what happened. It's kind of comical. The guys up in high school kids, I think in Oregon, I forget what high school, it doesn't really matter. They got pissed off and they tore the damn thing down and threw it in the hallway. Now, I'm not in favor of destroying things, but that was kind of appropriate. What are you guys thinking? Here's the other problem, and this is our biggest problem. This is our biggest problem right here. This week's column, I mentioned something that John Adams had once said. He said, unless we have a religious and a moral and an informed population.
Okay, why don't you stop right here? I'm going to cut it because that noise is going to cut in.
Okay.
I'm really editing these things.
Okay, well, I'll hold this and we'll repeat it until.
Because those diesel
trucks. I hate diesel trucks. You know why I
too.
hate diesel trucks? I bought a diesel truck. You want to know why I bought a diesel truck?
What?
So that I could go camping and start my diesel truck in a campground at 4 o'clock in the morning, let it run for 17 hours while everybody is being gassed out. I hate diesels.
Two vehicles that I hate while being here in the gallery, while I'm concentrating. It's a diesel truck and one of those Harley Davidsons. When they start them up, they are so loud.
That's what this.
And there's always this idiot. I might even just keep this. There's always this idiot who drives down the street on his Honda or Yamaha.
Harley.
But they've got their music. And
oh my God!
And it's usually Leonard Skinner.
Yeah.
And it is so loud. Like, they want everybody to hear their Sweet Home Alabama. And I'm like, what the hell? And they're just they've got their helmet on and they're just going down the street. And those are the people that bug me.
And on the other thing, that little thing that goes on their handle of motorcycle, that's called the volume control. They sit there and volume that damn thing up while they're sitting in park.
Okay.
Well, this all kind of ties in because John Adams once said the republic cannot survive unless we have a religious, moral, and informed populace. We are none of the above, and what we have.
It wasn't just him. It was a whole.
Oh,
bunch
I
of
know,
people
but I'm just quoting you. What are you doing? Stepping on my line again?
Well, I just want to be accurate.
Well, I am accurate.
So John Adams said we had to be moral.
Yeah, which we do, and
Pious John Adams.
And we have to be informed. Yeah, he was a little over the top on that, but that's okay. And we have to be informed.
I just read a lot of people didn't like him because of his quote piety. He was like Mr. Goody
he was pretty, yeah, but maybe that balances out some of the other shit that's going on.
Just kind of like he's like the Ben Shapiro at that age. He's that kid in high school who told you how much smarter he was than you.
I don't think he did that, but he was very, very judgmental.
Yeah.
and his yeah. So anyway, so how many different things? Look around you, folks. Look around you. We are becoming an absolutely immoral society, and that is where everything else ties in. I mentioned in the column last week.
Immoral or amoral? In other words, just people.
It doesn't matter because
they're subjective with their morality.
I know, yeah. But here's the thing. We have to have that. Now, I went. I put it in my column last week. I was walking across the parking lot over there at whatever it is.
There.
Yeah, over there. And there was a bag laying on the ground in the middle of the sidewalk, and it was a type that merchants use. It had a little zipper on it, and it was where the merchants take their money, the receipts, checks, everything else, to deposit at the bank. I found that there, and I looked at it, and I could see what it was. Well, it was a restaurant. You zip it open, you can see there's a lot of money in there. Quite a bit of cash because it's a restaurant. They take a lot of cash in.
Yeah.
Okay, so I looked around, and there's U.S. Bank over there. So I walked it over, walked into one of the checkers, and I says, "Here, this guy, whoever dropped this, is gonna. Right now, he's tearing his hair out trying to find this damn thing because he is in a panic." Okay, so I did it.
Well, this reminds me of It's a Wonderful Life. Remember, Mr. Potter finds the money that was left by the brother.
Immorality was in
and the brother left it in between his paper.
Yeah. I got it. Let me finish. Okay. You're stepping on my line.
Okay,
again.
so you were the good Samaritan.
No. Here's the point that I want to get to, if you will allow me. I am not. Most people who read that column would do exactly the same thing. Exactly the same thing. They wouldn't take and stuff the money in their wallet or in their pocket and throw the bag in the trash. They would actually do the right thing, take it to the bank. Most of the people who read the column. Why? Why?
Did you count the money?
No, I didn't count the money.
I'm just trying to be a reporter.
Don't need to be. Yeah. Anyway, why do most people, I believe, would do the same thing? Because basically they are moral, they know right from wrong, and where do we get that from? Where is this sense of right and wrong? Most people will do that, but I used it, there's a line on the end of the column. You know, there's a line that somebody once said, and I just adapted it to myself. Those of us who do the right thing, instinctively do the right thing, are the thin thread of morality that holds this rotten fabric of society together. And if we don't have that thread, if we don't have those people that do that,
thin red line,
whatever you want to call it, if we don't have that, we're almost there now. I think we're screwed big time. I think you people have screwed up my world.
You people, wait, where are you going with this? You mean the brown man?
I don't care. You're brown, you're in front of me. Okay, take it.
So are you saying you white people were more righteous from the people that you learned from?
See, now you're twisting my words.
No,
did I say white? Did I say white?
I'm trying to be the devil's advocate here.
Oh, is that what that's called?
That's why I was trying to have you define.
You know what I was
trying to have you define who the you people are.
I feel threatened now.
Okay, good.
Okay, that's all I had to say for now.
I was just trying to get his goat.
Well, you did. God, you're annoying.
We have a constitutional crisis, wouldn't you say? Right now in this country.
We don't have a constitution anymore.
That's kind of true. But let me unpack that.
Okay, you run with this. It's all yours now.
Because you could say that, but anybody can say, we don't have a constitution anymore. We don't have a country anymore. Okay, well, what do you mean by that? Because
you want me to tell you what I mean by that?
Okay, what do you mean by that?
The only way that the Constitution will work is at the will of the people. It meaningless unless the people say this is the one we want, because we're not doing that.
Oh, so you're going back. Here's your problem.
I don't have a problem.
Yes, you do. You know what your problem is? You still,
oh boy, what's my problem?
You still believe in government by the consent of the governed. That is so yesterday, man.
Oh my God!
Don't you know that
I'm so wrong.
Don't you know that the Constitution is a living?
Oh, there we go.
Or organic.
And what miserable low-left hippie misfit SOB decided that was the idea?
Do you want to know who?
Tell me.
Teddy Roosevelt and Woodrow Wilson. They really believed that you needed a strong. At one time, this is why we have a constitutional crisis. I'll give it to you real simple. I've been taking all these courses from Hillsdale College, so kind of up to speed.
No, you're the thinker
We've been
guy.
talking about this, but now there's a foundation to all this, because the progressives believed that they needed a strong executive. The president was supposed to be, he's part of the executive branch, and he was supposed to execute the laws that we, the people, decided to be governed by our consent. They were supposed to secure our freedoms. Are you with me so far?
Yeah, I'm following you.
Secure our freedoms and liberties so that we can do what we want to do to pursue our happiness, right? Life, liberty, and pursuit of our happiness. And that's why we bonded together in this compact called the Constitution with this idea of checks and balances and separations of powers. Well, today, I'll tell you, we're just going to have a lot of outside noise. So all that was kind of done away with, was this concept by progressives, Teddy Roosevelt, Woodrow Wilson, saying, no, we need a European style of government where we're no longer going to just have government for the individual. That individual now is governed more by society. And we need a president, an executive, who's just not executing the laws of the federal government, but he's now going to be the visionary. He's going to, in essence, be the Abraham, the Moses of America. That's why when you get the presidents, they give their inauguration speeches, they're given the vision for America. It's like the imperial presidency now. It wasn't supposed to be the case. So FDR ran with that idea.
Oh boy, did he.
And he literally became, he loved Mussolini. There's transcripts of he and Mussolini saying, I love the idea of fascism, but we have a constitution now. We can't do that. So his idea of fascism, and it's really true, was the New Deal. He was telling America the New Deal, and he essentially became the Moses of America at that time, because we're coming out of the Great Depression, and people needed somebody to gin up their spirits and inspire them and encourage them, kind of like a football coach at halftime. You're down by 21 points. We can do it. We can do it. We're America. You hear Joe Biden do that once in a while. We're America. Oh, well, that's the idea, except FDR was a lot more eloquent about it. And so he decided he's going to give us a New Deal and create this federalism where the president wasn't just executing the laws, he was now going to start legislating the laws, creating agencies that could go around the legislature, and these agencies would have legislative power through regulations that they themselves would come up with, not the legislature. They'd have judicial power. They're the ones who would tell you if you're right or wrong. And they would have executive power. They would execute these things, knock on your door, and the man from OSHA, there's some problem with your building, and he's the one who's going to enforce the codes. And so the Supreme Court has essentially said, yep, these agencies are pretty much self-regulating. There's not two, and FDR wanted these agencies to go on in perpetuity. They would be the experts. They would be the ones who would. It's called the administrative state. They're the ones who run the country. And here's a dirty little secret. The congressmen, they love that, because if something goes wrong, they'll point the finger at the CDC. They can literally eliminate the CDC with the stroke of a pen and a vote if they wanted to. But no, they love the fact that they have these agencies. They can go, it's Homeland Security's fault, which leads me to why we have this constitutional crisis, because you have this agency that was created during George Bush, Homeland Security, and Mayorkas is up for impeachment, and I don't know if they voted on it yet, but they're saying that Mayorkas hasn't enforced the laws. Here's the problem. There have been all these laws in the books in our border going all the way back to Reagan that haven't been enforced.
Yeah.
So it's not just the Biden administration. It was the Reagan administration, the Bush administration. Not until you had the Trump administration, but again, he's the fascist and he's the wannabe king man or who started to enforce that. Even Obama, evidently, sent back a whole bunch of
he was
illegals.
Wasn't he they had a nickname for him.
Yeah. We have a law right now on the books that was passed into law during the time of Reagan, where if any person was caught crossing the border if you crossed the border and it wasn't at a checkpoint, which was the authorized entry into the country, if you came in anywhere other than that, you can be imprisoned for 6 months, pay a fine, or if there were other sorts of crimes you committed, up to 2 years. That has never been enforced, or if it has been, it's been selective. So what we have now is this selective lawfare, kind of like what they're doing to Trump. Mm-hmm. It's like pick and choose. It's subjective. And so we're running on the fumes of the Constitution. Our representatives are picking and choosing which laws they're going to obey.
That's why we don't have a Constitution anymore.
That's why our Constitution is just fumes. Our Christianity is just fumes. And that's why when a law goes before the Supreme Court, it's a crapshoot. You don't know which way they're going to go. A lot of the courts now have deferred to these agencies, like what happened during the lockdown. We keep going back to lockdown because, as we've been saying, you couldn't talk to your governor, you couldn't talk to your representative, you couldn't talk to your mayor, your president, your senator. They were all essentially useless if you wanted them to help you. Who was in charge? The CDC. The health officer in the county. And of course, the health county said, well, the CDC said that, and Fauci said this, so that's what we're going to do. And it's like, I didn't consent to this.
This is the last thing that Newsom did, where he outlawed little small gas engines. Well, he must be a racist because he doesn't like Mexicans, apparently, because when he's outlawed small engines, he put a lot of the Mexican workers, yard guys, out of work. But did anybody come and ask me, hey, what do you think about banning small gasoline engines in California? Did I get a vote? Did anybody get a vote? Did anybody know about it? Here's the other thing about this. I should have brought it. I was going to bring it, and I forgot.
Well, we're somewhat of a republic, so you're not going to get a vote. Your state representatives and your federal representatives are the ones that are going to vote.
But yeah, it was an unelected official who decided that was a good idea. I was going to bring the Declaration of Independence, which I know this is all archaic crap. Nonetheless, if you read
our founding document,
the Declaration of Independence clearly states, and you guys should read it. Take some time, read the damn thing. I forget how far down it is, about 2/3 of the way down. It says, we rebel against a monarchy that sends out hordes of unelected people to suck out the lifeblood. I'm just paraphrasing. Read it and you'll get it right.
Yeah, it's one of the grievances.
Yeah. And they sent out hordes of these people to suck out the life of the American people. At that time, they weren't Americans yet. So anyway, it's all there. We are, not only do we have turned everything over to
unelected. We're pre-1776 now. We really are.
Yeah. We are exactly that. We are pre-1776.
They accused Trump of wanting to be a dictator. If you really wanted to know who was an American dictator, it was FDR. He imprisoned Asians.
Yeah. How about that one?
He imprisoned American citizens for World War II. How do you like them apples?
Yep.
And there's a case to be made that he was really racist towards the black people too. That's a little side avenue. But the real racist was Woodrow Wilson. And he actually said this whole idea of the founding with natural rights and checks and balances, he goes, that was good for that time. I don't know if you guys know this stuff, but there's a whole group of people, and they're coming out of Harvard and Yale. They don't believe in natural rights anymore. They don't believe that your rights come from God. They don't believe in this idea of limited government and checks and balances. So you have one group, let's say the Patriots, MAGA, talking about checks and balances, and the powers not delegated to the federal government are reserved back to the states. There's a whole group of Americans that go to these Ivy League schools and any other upper education, higher education. They don't believe in that. It's like you're talking to somebody from another time period in another land. We are like anathema to them. We're dinosaurs to them. It's like, you still believe there's a God who gives you, and that's why it just turns my stomach when I hear Pelosi and Biden. They talk about God and they believe in the Constitution. No, they don't. Anytime you have a president that wants to now push back against the administrative state is going to push back. Look what happened to Kennedy. He tried to push back against the CIA. Guess what happened there? Same thing with Nixon. Nixon wanted to create a new federalism.
But this is all for own good. Look at Johnson's war on poverty.
That's right.
That worked well. You see any poverty around?
That's what I was talking about. We now have an imperial presidency where the president in his inaugural address sets out the vision for us. They've come down from Mount Sinai with the tablets.
And we're going to declare war
on poverty, war on poverty, and the Great Society, and the whole. They're all like little reincarnations of FDR. Except if it's liberal FDR, I'll tell you, the media, they love you. But if it's the conservative FDR, like Reagan or like Trump, they think you are evil. There is only so much the president can do. That's why, if Trump does become president, there's going to be the administrative state. The group that really is going to rescue us is going to be the legislature, because they're the ones who can eliminate. They can not the president. He's limited in what he can do, but they can eliminate these departments. Do they want to? No, because they want to blame these departments and these agencies and these commissions. I just learned through one of these lectures from Hillsdale from this one man who's like an expert in the administrative state. If you count up the bureaus, the commissions, the agencies.
Oh my God.
Over 2,000.
And most of them are redundant.
And they write the regulations. Did you vote for that? No. So we have now gone beyond the consent of the governed. They could care less about our consent. Okay? Happens routinely. You vote for something, some judge overrules it because he says it's unconstitutional. No, it's not unconstitutional. The democratic process. Oh, and who else loves the democratic process? The Democrats prior to and after that, prior to the Civil War, if you ask them, how many people want slavery? Southern states all had their hands up. We want slavery because we like democracy. Right? That's a true democracy. Except it was wrong. You can't have the Declaration of Independence saying men are created equal, and it's self-evident, these truths are self-evident. That's what Martin Luther King said. He said, we want America just to live up to their founding document.
Right.
But a true democracy, you have people who vote, we want to have black people as property, and if they all agree on it, that's a democracy. So when you hear idiots on MSNBC talking about Trump wants to undo our democracy. Yeah, he wants to undo your democracy, where you guys want everybody to be woke. If your kid wants to be tranny, he better be tranny, or you're not going to
lose your job,
and you lose your kid. Mm-hmm. See what I'm saying? They want to put you back in the plantation.
They want to put you in chains.
They really do. They really do want to put you in chains. I hope you wake up. I hope you wake up. This is the game that is being played in plain sight, America. They love the idea of it. Why do you think they want to get rid of the Electoral College? Because they want to they want this border crisis, which is now, again, a constitutional crisis, because there's more people than they even thought would come. These sanctuary cities said, come, all you unwashed.
I laugh now at them.
And all you who are sick and infirm, come, and we will embrace you, and we will take care of you. Well, that's what the governor of Texas and DeSantis did. They sent them all those migrants, and now they're going, oh, these people are racist and they're evil. And the brilliance of what the governor of Texas did was he nationalized the problem. Because up until that point, see, this is typical American politics. Biden wanted to screw Texas because they vote Republican. So it's like, well, hey, if they overrun their country, their state, what do I care? Have you noticed we really don't have a problem here in California? Did you notice that?
Not yet.
Yeah, because it's a Democratic state. So the problems are all through Arizona and in Texas. Arizona, which is somewhat purple, and Texas, which is up for grab. Purple, red, we don't know. And so they nationalize it, and so that is now the key grievances in the country that everybody's upset about because it's affecting the poor people in these sanctuary cities. And so so at the gut level, I didn't consent to this, and government is not securing my rights. I'm losing my rights because I want to now go to. I paid my taxes and I want to go to the hospital. Got all these. You've got illegals in there. They've got the number just like you.
You know, if you think back when Trump was always being beat up, he called the coronavirus a Chinese virus. Oh my God, well, it turned out he was right. Or they're sending their worst to the worst of the worst across the border. Well, Venezuela is emptying their prisons out. Why do they want to feed prisoners when they can ship them north? Oh, there we go. They're emptying their prisons out, folks. That's who we're getting in this country, walking across the border. And some of the bullshit going on. Trump was being beat up because he didn't finish the wall. He worked on the wall as best he could with what he was up against. And he got the Mexicans to actually hold them in Mexico. The Mexicans were sending out troops at the southern border so they wouldn't come across Mexico. But the other thing was, it was all petty. This is like children. What did Biden do when first thing he did is he opened the border? There's I don't know how much, but a lot of fencing along the southern border that they were in the process of putting up. And Biden comes in, he's, oh, I don't like anything he does. I'm going to cancel Keystone. I don't like what he does. And that silly wall, oh, I don't like that. So what do? They quit building it, and now they're selling it off for scrap. Your tax money went off being sold for scrap on the southern border.
That's true. And also, Biden, before he became president, essentially campaigned on it's inhumane that we don't allow these migrants to come to America. We were built on immigration.
You voted for it.
And do you remember
Somebody did.
Do you remember those videos? Thank you, Biden. They're coming across.
They're still doing it.
They had signs, these migrants, after the election.
They're still doing it.
Thank you, Biden. The word got out. As soon as Biden becomes president, come on in. And that's what's happening. Except now they didn't bargain for the fact that they're going into their major...
I don't think they care.
Major cities. Oh, they care now because it comes down to the balloting. If they lose a significant amount of the black vote, they care. Believe me. But of course, the talking points are this was all Trump's fault, and give me a law and I'll close that border.
Oh yeah.
We've got
give me the power. Give me the power.
We've got all the laws we need. That's why this whole new bill which nobody has seen the workings of the bill, because of course it's going to be a bill that's should be enforced or will be enforced by Homeland Security. You think that Mayorkas is going to enforce it? He's not going to enforce it.
And the other problem
is the same old game they've been doing for a long time.
And if they do evict him, if they do kick Mayorkas out, it doesn't matter because
they're not going to kick him out.
No, I know they're not. But there'd be no point in it because he's not the one setting those rules. That's coming from beyond him. If he did get kicked out, I mean, they're not going to, but if he did, so what? They don't care.
At this point, folks, it's the truth. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but America now is run especially through subjectivity, feelings, polls.
Oh, you feel like a woman again, huh?
That's America. And laws are enforced if they feel like enforcing it, or if the right people are in power, they'll enforce it. The wrong people are in power, they won't enforce it to create chaos. The real chaos agents are both parties, but right now it's that Democratic Party that essentially just is creating.
Do you have any solutions? Do we have any solutions? You know, I hate just bitching. Is there any solution? What do you think? You're a smarter man than me. You're educated.
Right now, with all these agencies, people want this. It's kind of like, I teach a Bible study. It's like 1 Samuel. The people wanted a king. They didn't want to be judged by Samuel, and they got their way, and their kings have screwed them over. And Samuel said, "Your king is going to screw you over. He's essentially going to make your
So
daughters
we want
and your
royalty
sons
then.
slaves. They wanted to be like everybody else. And so Woodrow Wilson, you have to go back to the progressives. He goes, we need a European style of government, and it's no longer, we're no longer to be subjected to Newtonian laws or John Locke. We now should be governed by Darwin. He actually gave a speech, said, there's no God anymore. And so we need experts, we need technocrats. And these people, see, they believe that man was progressively getting better. Your founding fathers didn't believe that. They believed, because they all were raised on the Bible, they believed man had the divine spark in them, the image of God, but they were good and evil. They were fallen. The progressives said, no, man is progressively getting better. And if we have these enlightened people that run these agencies, and they don't have to worry about being elected. Self-selecting is the word. You hear that in the World Economic Forum, self-selecting experts. These people now are going to run these agencies, and they're going to keep the people's best interest in mind. They will secure habitats for the fish so the fish can thrive. They will make it so that a gay person doesn't have to be worry where they go. All these little minority rights now are going to be secured, but they have literally turned America on its head.
So we don't have a solution.
Well, the solution, personally, as a Christian, I believe in the kingdom of God. So that's the real solution. Our country, don't hit.
I'm being careful. Don't be mad or not be.
Is right
you think
now,
I'm going to kick over the stand?
Is right now just crumbling. So, do I see a solution?
Total collapse and start again.
I think it depends where you live. All politics is local. So if you live, you're still governed by your state in some degree. And, and by wherever you live. That's one of the reasons I moved to Auburn.
A classic example of this is that the Tea Party. It thought that it could change things from the top down. Wrong-o. You have to start at the bottom. You got to go.
I thought the Tea Party was from the ground up.
Not initially, no.
Okay.
So, but you have to actually. They realized finally, somewhere along the way, maybe that's where you picked up on it. They realized that you have to start with the dog catcher and the city council and the school board. It'll work its way up eventually, but that's not something that's going to happen in 6 months. It's not going to happen.
Yeah. Well, there's a woman with the mask on.
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
that's it. I'm already depressed.
Living in fear, living in fear, living in fear.